Just a daily headline for today. This appears very much like an advisory or a warning to all politicians that power is indeed transient, that you may have it today, tomorrow not. And,
so be very careful how you use that power.
Wengi watacheka huyu jamaa anaitwa Rigiji, lakini jua it is the same exact fate that faces each and every politician, including the president. That today you'll be president, but you cannot be president for life. At some point, you will need to leave that office, and at that point, you will no longer have that power.
And interestingly, the fact that now the outgoing deputy president was crucified on what he was saying just the moment he took over. We're going to be also taking a look at what the deputy president also is going to be saying as of today. His speech starting off, how he's going to be taking oath of office, all the way his speeches thereafter, when he's going to be in different parts of the country. If on matters inclusivity was what crucified Rigathi Gachagua, then we're going to be very keen on how Professor Kithure Kindiki is going to be handling this matter. If he is going to be one of those that leader who is going to actually make sure that he does not follow the footsteps. They say grand fall, President Ruto lays red carpet to low profile president after impeached Gachagua suffers fatal blow in effort to save his political soul. We have that story on page 3. I was expecting whole extensive coverage on that, but then now over the weekend they're going to be having extensive coverages of that and the kind of pictorials that are going to be for today. Something interesting also happening is at the very top, teachers demand standing allowance. They have Nairobi County JSS basically protesting. That is a front page of People Daily. Power is transient. On the front page of The Standard, what awaits Kindiki? They're calling it a bittersweet moment there. Interesting. Abraham Kithure Kindiki will this morning be sworn in as deputy president to succeed embattled Rigathi Gachagua, whose fate was sealed in a judgment yesterday, lifting orders stopping the Interior CS's ascension. The decision was music to the ears of the establishment, but a body blow to the impeached DP, whose aggressive fight back has so far yielded 0 win. And now these guys have extensive coverage of the story. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. We also have a quote there by Anthony Mrima, who was one of the judges of the 3-judge bench. The conversations pale kando, say IMF's Kenya warning as it releases 78 billion Kenyan shillings. That and what they're actually warning, because we do have the physical copies here. Say on page 11, that tuangalie what IMF inatuambia, the fact that they're celebrating Uganda. Hapa some of the funding conditions on page 11. 1, the fiscal reforms, tax regime overhaul, corruption crackdown, resource management, that is for the fiscal reforms that should be there. On governance and accountability, should be an improved public finance management system, a communication of the need for reforms to gain public and political support, and on matters banking and monetary policy, the current policy should be flexible exchange rate to improve resilience against external shocks, and a banking oversight, as well as a sustainability on matters the climate initiatives. That is what IMF is telling us.
There's a very interesting headline on the front page of The Standard. Abductions soil Kenya's image.
Yes.
So the ongoing abductions and reports of so many people missing now becoming a bone of contention and the biggest discussion even when it comes to diplomacy. The Standard is serializing Bad Girl Millie's untold story. Rig or Be Rigged, that's a book she penned. So starting tomorrow, that's an interesting one. And apparently the inflation came down. Irony of Kenya's low inflation, but empty pockets. So according to the latest Kenya Bureau of Standards, or Statistics rather, report, the October inflation rate dropped further to 2.7%. even as Kenya's pockets remain empty, a factor of a slowing economy and myriad of taxes imposed by the Ruto administration.
And this is going to be used mostly by the politicians as a campaign tool. Yes.
But you see also...
this will be misused by...
At times, inflation can drop because you are really not spending. No one is spending, so there's no demand for anything.
Yeah.
So, because there's no money, so no one is spending, how can inflation go high?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the conversations on the front page of The Standard. On the back page, maswala ya sporti pale. Hugs and laughter as Manchester United, as Ruben Amorim set to take over.
And I think they've just wasted a whole page of a newspaper with that story.
Why?
Because there are better stories to be told about other things. The Daily Nation goes its second in command. And you know the difference between being a CS and being a deputy president. If you've ever seen the entourage that accompanies the deputy president, oh, it's something else, something different. So Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki, a former teacher of law, is set to occupy the second most powerful office in the country after the noisy and messy ouster of Mr. Rigathi Gachagua. Now, they're even calling him Mr. now.
Yes.
Of Mr. Rigathi Gachagua. This is after the High Court decision yesterday afternoon to remove the last hurdle on his way to taking the oath of office. And they've given some extensive coverage on pages 2 and 3 of this paper. Pale chini, also inside, acting Interior CS gazetted, that's Musalia Mudavadi. Mixed reactions over ruling and Gachagua's fight for survival. They go back and take a look at that. On the front page, Professor Karega Mutahi, the man who chose his destiny. This is a former permanent secretary for education who passed on last week. And US polls and the ramifications for Kenya. It's also there, given prominence on the front page of the Daily Nation. As we said, it's only 4 days to the elections in the US. Will it be Kamala Harris or President Donald Trump?
The big question is, do Kenyans really even care who takes over? And
apparently they do care. I've seen a lot of debate, especially on X.
Yes.
With people actually supporting different candidates. You wonder.
And giving solid reasons.
Does your kura matter? Do you even have a vote? Can we focus on what's happening here? Most of them don't even bother to vote in Kenya. They don't even know the MC, and you were bothered about the US president.
Something else interesting on the back page of Daily Nation. It says school managers held over fake KPSEA papers. This conversation continues. Lawyers plead with court to release director, saying she is asthmatic and on medication. Prosecutors suggest counseling to help traumatized pupils. I don't know if they're still going to be sitting the same papers, different set of...
KPSEA ended yesterday, so now I don't know what will happen to those students who, instead of sitting for the KPSEA this year, they were given papers from last year. But then again, the KPSEA exam was not intended to be like KCPE. It's not the one that determines whether or not you transit to the next level. It's simply to assess the level of comprehension. So hata kama exam ni ya mwaka jana, si itatest tu comprehension. Na kama unaelewa.
Yes.
You move on to grade 7.
Plus it also sets the stage for now KCSE exams are going to now officially begin for the maths papers, English papers, I believe next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they were waiting for the new deputy president.
Yeah. and even how they're going to be conducted. They're going to be conducted like this. Itakuwa na a certain seriousness yake.
Who is a CS for education again?
Julius Migos
Ogamba.
Okay. Yes.
All right. Because everyone has been asking that question.
Yes.
Who is a CS for education? For example, who's a CS for health? Now there's a crisis with the transition from NHIF and SHIF. This is the time to see them. This is the time that they should be actually on our faces telling us what's happening. But we don't know their faces.
CS wa water kwa chini ya maji.
Wako underwater.
Hii imeenda. Juhudi za naibu rais aliyetimuliwa ofisini Rigathi Gachagua kusimamisha kuapishwa kwa Profesa Kithure Kindiki kama naibu rais mpya wa Kenya ziligonga mwamba jana. Habari kamili kwenye ukurasa wa pili. Kulingana na jopo la majaji watatu, mahakama hii inabainisha kuwa afisi ya naibu rais haiwezi kubaki wazi.
Imeenda.
Vidokezo vingine pale kando.
Safaricom imekiri kutoa data So amekubali. Lakini kampuni ya mawasiliano yakanusha kutoa maelezo kusaidia utekaji nyara. Na mambo ya utekaji nyara bado yako kwenye kurasa za mbele, yamepewa kipaumbele sababu kuna habari nyingine pale juu. Mabalozi EU wakemea utekaji nyara. Wataka rais ahakikishe polisi waheshimu sheria na kukomesha utekaji nyara. Maverick Aoko bado hajapatikana. Kuna wengine pia hawajulikani walipo. Yule MCA wa Wajir hajulikani alipo.
Ndio hata wanasema kugoma
mabunge ya county zote kugoma. Muungano wa mabunge ya county unaitwa CAF walalamikia kupotea kwa diwani wa Wajir. Masuala ya uchaguzi wa Marekani pia yamepewa kipaumbele hapa, kidokezo pale chini kwenye kurasa la mbele la Taifa Leo. Harris Trump wakita kambi majimbo kuu, walipeleka kampeni zao kwenye majimbo yenye ushindani mkubwa. Gazeti la Taifa Leo.
Business Daily, taxpayers signal as a new 78 billion cash shillings IMF loan deal. Just look at the physical paper here. They say raising more revenue a condition for lenders' multi-billion shilling loans plan. So apparently, IMF says Kenyans face more tax pain after the IMF signaled the need to raise more revenue as condition for its multi-billion loans facility for the country. So it says, the IMF says Kenya underperformed on revenues in the year to June, a period before the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024 that has left the Treasury in a financial strain. So it wants Kenya to increase tax collections despite the withdrawal of new taxes in the Finance Bill after deadly youth-led protests. That is the key words there. It wants Kenya to increase tax collections despite the withdrawal of the new taxes. Upon the meat is. So if IMF says, hi, we're giving you this, lakini we want to see you guys now.
Better collection.
Yes, better collection. It has already kickstarted what KRA is really doing. Lakini
Wakenya lazima wafinywe. Lazima mfinywe. So your bank accounts, your mobile money accounts are being monitored by KRA. It's now official. Lazima ushuru ulipwe. Kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea.
Naam. Vidokezo vingine pale kando kwenye tika, a very interesting story. They say the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA future on the balance as US votes next week. So it's going to be, it really touches, and Kenya is really big on this as well.
Yes, because different US presidents have different policies for Africa.
Yes.
And many may believe, many may think that actually the Democrats have better policies for Africa, but it's the other way around. In recent history, we've seen that the Republican administrations in the US have actually been more friendly to Africa, especially East Africa. That presidential fund, PEPFAR, was actually under a Republican administration. And once Barack Obama came in, that was the end of it. So you never know.
Right. So even as you debate on who should take over and what kind of a new era is going to be there.
Kindiki, a new era, function to take place anytime between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. today, according to law. And of course, we'll be there to bring you all the details from there. Our reporters will be stationed at KICC as well as countrywide, just to take a look and try to gauge public sentiment and the reactions of many people on this matter. It is a heavy paper today, The Star, because it contains a siasa pull-out inside, which talks about antagonizing with Tangula is a very poor political strategy. Nisema bana yeye ndio inakani kama yeye ndio next. Power is transient, remember. Yes. Anything can happen.
But yesterday before the court ruling, was he the one in charge after the president had left?
Now that's a very interesting question. The president was in Burundi for a summit, and we still didn't have a deputy president. So who was in charge in the absence of the president?
Must have been him.
Well, it could also have been the
president designate.
I do not know. No, it could not have been him. But anyway, the front page of The Star has dedicated quite some space to the image of the deputy president designate. But other quick highlights on this front page: rainy weather to resume this weekend countrywide.
Yes.
I don't know wapi huko. Matters borrowing cash crisis hits government as massive debts take toll on key state operations. And the Maraga Task Force report on police. State requires 106 billion shillings to implement police reforms. PS Omolo tells lawmakers. So these are just the main headlines today. Of course, the big one is the expected swearing in of the deputy president designate at 10 a.m. this morning in the afternoon. Yes, at the KICC. As far as the cartoons are concerned, this one is from the Standard.
Yes. We have, I believe that's Justice Mrima.
Really? Is that him? It's just a caricature of a judge driving the last nail. Yes. Driving the last nail on Rigiji's coffin. Rigiji tenure. This is at a, we call it a cemetery somewhere.
Yeah.
They say, easy come, easy go. But was it really that easy? Easy go probably, easy come, not so sure, but that's according to the cartoonist on the Standard.
Gamzo. On People Daily, Stano's take, have the counties emptying their pockets, and behind the counties is a pile of pending bills. The commentator says, in a country of abductions, someone has abducted development.
So
push and pull ya counties wakisema
pending bills, hakuna pesa. Sasa umesikia the government doesn't have money. Counties are not paying their suppliers. So development has apparently been abducted. That's the People Daily, the cartoon on the People Daily. I think we still have the one on the Standard on the screens. For the Daily Nation and the Star, the cartoons are different. The Daily Nation goes with matters health, transition from NHIF to SHIF. So they have SHIF already on a wheelchair. And this is supposed to be the bigger, better deal.
Yes.
But SHIF already... Ashagonjeka already within 1 month, ako kwa wheelchair, anapelekwa emergency.
But it's exactly 1 month.
Exactly 1 month since the rollout of the SHIF. But according to this cartoonist, IGA, SHIF and SHA are already on a stretcher.
Yes. On the cartoon on the Star, they have, it's a gate, and kuna ile kitu ya kusimamisha magari kabla ingie. Yes, the barrier. And clinging on the barrier is Rigathi Gachagua. And the judiciary is saying proceed. And whoever is proceeding is the new deputy president who is expected to be sworn in today. Kithure Kindiki, he was driving in a very expensive car there. Number plate imeandikwa DP. Yes. In the cartoon, yeah. The Star today.
A change in command, the biggest discussion this morning. And we'll be looking at this and a lot more with my panelists after the break. Do stand by for that. Remember, this is our special coverage of the swearing-in ceremony of the Deputy President Designate, Professor Kithure Kindiki, which is set to happen this morning at the KICC at 10 a.m. in the afternoon. So do stand by for that. We'll be bringing you all the details.
Oh yes. Don't go too far. Remote hapo chini. We'll be right back.